Hi, welcome to Men in God. This is your #1 talk show. It is the show where we inspire men to live a godly legacy and for men to be driven into their purpose. And our focus today, we are focusing on marriage because we are aware that the enemy, he hates marriage. God, he has ordained marriage, but the devil hates marriage. Hence today, many couples are divorcing, and some of them, they don't understand that there's a spirit behind. Today we have our guest, the man of God. Man of God, you were here last week, you are here today. Please share with us, who are you and what do you do?
Thank you so much. It's always a privilege to be part of the DaveytonTV. My name is Caesar. I'm a marriage coach and a marriage counselor. I officiate weddings and I'm also a life coach actually. So I think that will be enough.
Wow, powerful. I hope you understand. And don't forget, I'm your host, Pastor Jacob Mabote. This is DaveytonTV. Men of God, today I want us to continue from where we left off last week. I want us to talk about God and marriage. Where does God feature in marriage? In a marriage setup, where does God feature?
Yeah. So I think from touching from last week, we did agree that marriage does not find its origin in the will of men.
Okay.
Men didn't come up with marriage.
Yes.
A marriage is an institution that God founded.
Yeah.
And why it's only now that as we are living on this earth, we are discovering, as we read the Bible, we are discovering that, okay, God had a plan and a purpose for this thing. But marriage is founded by God, and it is a specific purpose given to men to live on earth. But actually it is a spiritual, if I were to say, marriage is a spiritual product given to human beings to roll it out on earth. But it has a plan, God's plan. It's in Genesis 1:26. It has God's plan within it, where God wanted us to come on earth and replenish the earth and fill it with His glory, etc. But marriage is God's. It doesn't find its origin in men. Not lobola, not traditions, not culture, not social media. God is the owner of this product.
Wow.
Yeah.
Powerful. And we know that a lot has been said about marriage. Others will say for marriage to be a complete marriage, one has to go through a process where you lobola, that is a traditional way process of connecting people, yeah. And also the legal way where you have to go and sign, and also the fact that the last part, people are always saying it is a white wedding where we invite people to come and celebrate with us, and people, they believe that that's one of the main aspects of marriage.
That's right.
But Muruti, I want us to talk about expectations, because when you go deeper and research about marriage, you discover that most of the marriages today are failing because of expectations.
That's right.
Please share with us, what does expectations does to a marriage setup?
Okay, let's put it this way. Let's say that because most of us, we do not know the purpose of marriage, and therefore we find ourselves abusing something that we think we understand, but actually we don't. Because if husband and wife were to understand what God was thinking when He put this vehicle together, probably their expectations would be null and void. Why? Because, for an example, how can I put this? If I buy a car, I expect a car to have 4 tires and have 5 gears. I'll be surprised if I would find a car with 1 wheel and with 1 gear, because generally all manufacturers, when they create or manufacture their vehicles, they manufacture in a certain standard. So everybody who goes to buy a car, like going to get married, if you have spent time with the manufacturer, you'd easily know what to expect. And what you'd expect won't shock the car. The car won't say, why do you expect me to have 4 wheels? Or why do you expect me to have 5 gears? So when we get married, because we don't know what the manufacturer was planning, thinking, we get into marriage and we come with things that actually are not part of the design. Now you're expecting this car to fly, and this car was never designed to fly. But if you spend time with the manufacturer, he'd have told you that the car has 3 gears. Never expect the 4th gear. It doesn't exist. So I think that our level of ignorance sets us up to get into a marriage thinking that my marriage must look like my neighbor or my cousin, but they might be driving a C-Class, and God wants you to drive a 2-gear vehicle. But if you to know that your husband only has 2 gears, you won't expect these other gears. Am I making sense?
Yeah, you're making sense, Murut, and I want us to go deeper on that part where I will say, is it wrong for me to expect my wife to buy me a car? I got married to this person because I saw this person that is earning 40K.
Sure.
So is it wrong for me to expect a car? I saw her, she's loaded. So is it wrong for me to expect a car from her?
Okay, either way it can work. Sometimes you find that women are expecting the husbands to buy them houses, cars, etc. Which tells us that when boy meets girl, usually we have a criteria in our head that he must have education, he must have this and this and that, then he's a candidate for marriage. But love is almost like foolish, because when you fall in love with somebody, it's after when you fall in love with them, you discover that no, this person works at Pick and Pay, this person doesn't have all the things that I'm looking for, but I love this person. So I think that for you to expect your wife to buy you a vehicle because that was your starting point, that's not cool. That's not how marriage should be started. You don't get into marriage because you're expecting somebody based on their education or based on their social standing. You don't get into marriage because you're looking at the outward adornment to say, if I can marry this one, I'm gonna score. But generally speaking, that's what people do. We marry from the outward adornment. Others see money, others see the body features, others see many other things, which when they enter into the marriage, they soon discover that none of the stuff that they've actually seen and signed up for actually sustains the marriage. So you can get married, you are a millionaire, you are the CEO of Coca-Cola, and in the next 3 months, you lose your job. And now you're unemployed. What's gonna be? So the dynamics can change anytime. So the main important thing is that we need to go through what I call premarital counseling, so that all these things, your expectations, what you don't know, what you need to understand about this person, can be all put on the table, and we can work through it, so that we can make sure that when you guys start this marriage, all your expectations are managed properly. Everything is portioned properly, and nobody is going to expect suddenly, I'm expecting this car to fly, because all cars are flying. No, maybe this one is not supposed to fly. Maybe this one is supposed to go in the seat, the submarine, you just don't know the secret button. But when you don't spend time with the designer of the vehicle or the creator of human beings, because God is the one who knows me. He knows how He wired me. And if my wife continues to be stubbornly ignorant, in order to take time to understand who I am and to get on her knees and say, tell me about this product. Who's this guy? What's his purpose? Why do you design him the way he is? Why does he get upset this way or laugh this way? You will find that we're missing a lot. And many of us therefore end up with a marriage that is so underutilized, because we don't know that there are hidden talents and gifts that were never unlocked from the spouse. Why? Because I'm lost with the degree, I'm lost with the CEO-ness and all those things, but there are other things that are underneath that we must bring forth. And also the standard of this world has put so much pressure on the marriage institution in such a way that everybody who gets married, there's a similarity of expectation that you must go to you must have a nice reception, your ring must be more than 30,000, and all these boxes that we need to tick. But actually, none of that stuff actually has any value. And many people are married right now. You probably know, you can tell me right now that everything you fought for, the money you paid for your wedding dress, and all that stuff does not buy you respect. Even the house you're living in, it does not give you happiness or buy you happiness or respect. I'm sure you can testify with me. Your car is not, you don't sleep with your car. And it's important for you to know that truly, marriage cannot be built by all the things we chase and get married for. Anyway, I think I'm saying a lot of things, but I think that it is important to note these things where expectation is concerned. Because if that is clear, then we can be able to have a sober, managed expectations where we are both healthy and we're okay. Nobody's feeling strained or hostage into this thing, or I have to work myself to this level because you are always raising the bar. And as much as I try to be the husband you want, you're just raising the bar. Every week the bar goes. Why? Because your mom is busy saying, when are you buying a new car? When are you getting a new house? When are you taking your school to the model C schools or whatever? Was actually we're cool with homeschooling, which I do with my wife. We're homeschooling our kids. And expectations were our kids are supposed to go to private schools, and we don't believe in that. And society says, why are you homeschooling? But because they don't know and they don't have an understanding or insight about homeschooling, meaning their ignorance now enables them to attack what they don't know. So I think that ignorance gives birth to unnecessary expectations, unfounded, groundless expectations. But with knowledge, we can know what to expect and not what to expect.
Wow, powerful. I hope you understand that one of the things that makes us to divorce, it is because of what we call comparison. Comparison, it is the thief of joy. There are many couples out there who are comparing themselves with other couples. If you see your next door neighbor buying a BMW, you are concerned. Baby, you are still driving a Tesla. Wow, look at this next door neighbor. He managed to buy that BMW. Remember one thing, that in life, you have to start first by being complete as an individual for you to be able to enjoy life. So avoid comparing yourself with others, because comparison, it is the thief of joy.
Yes.
Men of God, how do we handle that situation where your wife will say, but you saw so and so, he's now building a double story, but you are still staying in, you are still living in this forum house.
That's right. Many people or many married couples are struggling from what I call ego. Biblically it's called pride. And therefore it leads to envy and jealousy and a lot of stories. So I know that where my wife and I right now, in our relationship, there's what I call peace and contentment. We are not trying to buy another new house, get another bigger car or whatever, because we know now that these things are tools that are useful. And when we buy them, they must serve the purpose, and that's it. We're not going to now build attachment toward them and start to judge each other on, look at that one, and that's not where joy comes from. So we now know that as much in the past we thought, the bigger our house, the more joy we will have. The more nice our car, the more joy we'll have. But we didn't know that actually we are the ones who are actually, even career. We even thought that the more degrees and career and all that, now I'm a CEO, I have these businesses. We actually thought that those things are the ones that need to come in on the inside so that we can be happy and love each other, etc. But we didn't know that we are the ones who flow into these things. Meaning, my job, my car, my house does not give me joy. Joy, I am joy. Joy flows into these things. So if a house does not have joy, it's just bricks. But the minute joy flows into the house, it transforms. My point here is that marriage is actually an empty box. There's nothing inside the marriage. Marriage is like a shell. It's only when joy moves in, peace moves in, respect moves in, then marriage has those, if I were to say, a bowl, empty bowl with no fruit. But when kindness comes in, there's a fruit. So many people think that when you walk into a marriage, they come with a list of expectations. When I walk into a marriage, I'm going to be complete, I'm going to be loved, I'm going to be respected, I'm not going to be lonely. So marriage has this promise of all these things, but actually it's nothing, there's nothing in there. We are the people who bring all the stuff on the inside of the marriage. Am I making sense?
You're making sense,
yeah.
yes.
So in addressing the comparison or the expectation, I know that it gets to a point where people get tired. You get tired trying to chase the Joneses. Especially when life begins to box you. Life can box you. And you might end up getting your car repossessed. And now you have to go to a taxi. What are you going to do? Are you going to hide? Well, there's Uber now, so people can hide around Uber. But life is a tendency to corner you so that you can strip the pride off of you. Or if I would say, deal with your ego. So that you can get to a point where, whether it's raining or not, you are happy. Whether there's Nando's or not, you are happy. Whether you're going to the taxis or you have a new car, it doesn't really matter. And it gives an opportunity to realize that you are enough within yourself. And when you see other people prosper, or put it this way, prosper physically, car, they're getting promoted, they're traveling to London on holiday, and they're having new clothes, and they're coming to share with you, come to celebrate, we're celebrating a new house. There's no jealousy on the inside of you, because you know, first off, I'm not running their race. I'm not sharing the same purpose as them. They are not me, I'm not them. I have my lot, they have their lot. And understanding purpose, it really helps you to even live in peace with yourself without always watching others what they are doing, especially in marriage, because that can come in and sabotage your marriage if you're always, your eyes always on others, which it shouldn't be. Each and every one of us have a path, and that path is designed for you. My joy might not be your joy. You know, Mina enjoy 2 slices of bread with peanut butter. You might want something different. But I'm going to not blame me and say you are not supposed to be happy in this type of a lifestyle. I'm really happy. I'm really content. I hope I'm making sense again. But I think that this is what is happening on this planet. And unfortunately, many people are not happy and they are entrapped by this. And I believe that a solution is here. The minute you familiarize with the Word of God itself, it has a way of tricking your attitude and tricking the way you think and see yourself. Suddenly, you're free from jealousy, condemnation, and all these other things that are not supposed to be part of our lives.
Wow,
Yeah.
powerful. I hope you understand. Our aim is to build healthy marriages. And what is important about what we are saying is that you couples out there, find your own pattern that will specifically work for you as a couple.
That's right.
And I'm reminded of one guy who said, you know, if you haven't yet find your own pattern, you become a problem. Like he said, there was a time where he wanted to love the wife to an extent that he wanted everyone to see that he loved the wife. And what he did, it is that he used to open the door, the car door, for the wife to come in, close the door, you know. And it happens that one day at night they had a fight, and in the morning it was raining, and the wife, she was expecting the husband to open the door, and what the husband did said, "It's raining, get inside, let's go."
That's right.
So finding your own pattern that will work for you. What can you say on that, Muthu?
It does, it will. But it's difficult for, generally even for myself, to find that sweet spot where I'm content in what I have and I'm flowing in my own rhythm, my own pace without being bothered by who's doing what. I think it takes the grace of God. I think it takes God's processing to strip you down to the bone so that you can finally, all this clutter that we put on ourselves as we grow into this world, because we are wearing a lot of labels. When challenges have stripped you of belly, what remains is the true essence of who you are. Suddenly you bump into your own value. Suddenly you're thinking, you know what, I actually didn't need that car, I actually didn't need that, I didn't need that job, actually I'm doing well. And suddenly you evolve to discover other things about you that you never saw. And suddenly you start to feel a self-worth. That now suddenly will separate you from comparing yourself with others that you actually thought they're better than me, therefore must compete with them. Because the minute you take on that attitude, you are actually confessing that they are superior, they are better than me. But actually that's a lie. God created man in his own likeness. There's not, spiritually speaking, we are neither superior nor inferior to each other. Therefore, I cannot now undermine myself based on you driving a container that has more speed. I'm making an example between a Tesla and a BMW. But psychologically, because we are programmed by the world system, we think in a certain way that sabotages our joy. We actually got into a point where even couples, they cannot attest of a good marriage without a big house with 7 rooms. If it's 2 rooms, no, we have not achieved. If it's 5 rooms, not yet, not yet. Until they get to a mansion or somewhere living in the suburb, then they feel now we are married. Only now we are married. But that's all fallacy. That's not true. And unfortunately, that's the society we are living in. And many right now, couples that I talk to, are carrying a weight of a bond. The very 7-room house is eating their salary every month. The very same big vehicle, it is so expensive to maintain, but they're stubbornly holding on to it because they have an image to maintain. because on the inside they don't know who they are. Therefore, the bigger the car, the bigger I am. The bigger my house, the bigger I am. That's the talk of the ego. Ego always looks for things outside to try and enhance what is on the inside, because it doesn't actually know what is spirit and what is of this earth. So I think that the minute we discover our value as a spirit being, none of the things externally would ever match that. Therefore, jealousy, competition, comparison will fall off naturally. That's what I think.
Wow, powerful. We are building you, men out there. Don't compare your wife with other wives. She's meant to be the way she is. Women out there, don't compare your husbands with other husbands. Don't compare your husband with your boss. Don't compare your husband with your father. For
With
that
your
matter.
father, that one is a big one.
Yeah, so they are not the same.
Yeah, and they will never be.
And they never be.
Yeah, so don't try.
Don't try. Don't try. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We are DaveytonTV and we are men in God. So we are inspiring men to be driven into their purpose.
That's right.
Our aim is to build healthy marriages. And we want you to contact us. We want you to connect with us, because we have men's camps. We have what we call marriage classes where we empower couples. So this is Men in God. So in closing, we just want to give the men of God a chance just to share briefly how can they connect with you.
Okay.
Yes, men of God.
Yeah. Please, this is the simplest way I think you can connect. We are talking to you right now, and you probably can just, this is a channel. So get hold of this channel. Social media is easy to operate. You can just Google and then get to this channel, or get to the details and contact this channel, so that you can be able to tap into all the resources that are available for you. They're actually at your fingertips. They're not far from you. I think that will be okay.
Wow, powerful. Thank you so much. We love you. May the Lord keep you and bless you. This is Men in God. We love you, and we are DaveytonTV. We are doing it ourselves. God bless you. Shalom.